Alright, Sharp Spot, here's my collection video. So Jake, I hope this is what you're looking for. I got, probably take me a little while here, but I'll get through it as quick as I can. It's pretty snowy and cold in southwest Michigan today, so I figured I'd let you guys enjoy the fire like I am. Alright, so there is most of it. There's a couple fixed blades, and then we'll get to those a little bit toward the end. So, I don't know where to start. I guess I can start with some slip joints here. I really like both modern folders with a pocket clip and older style slip joints. Both of them, I don't know, I think are really cool in their own way. So I've collected some over the years. I'm kind of the same way as Jake. Stuff doesn't really stick around in the collection if it doesn't really do it for me. So, well, except for a few that are kind of just like bad pennies. They just keep hanging around. So anyway, this one picked up locally. It's have a couple of these Steel Warriors. It's part of the Frost Cutlery line. Most of the Frost I'm not real big on. Let's see if I can get this thing to focus. But some of the Steel Warrior ones are actually pretty decent, especially if I can look at them, get them in hand first. I had to go through several of these to get some, to find one that didn't have cracked bone scales. But this one that took the die real well. Action was pretty good. I really like the color, and I like multi-bladed. I actually like both, single-bladed and multi-bladed. Older traditional knives like slip joints especially. I started out, my first knife that I used to carry all the time was a Stockman, and that was kind of got me hooked on multi-bladed knives. It's kind of nice. You get one that goes dull, you get another one out, you're ready to go again. So this one, that'll be interesting. I can't really open them up very well with only one hand. So there's multiple blades, coping blade and sheep's foot, and a couple pen blades, I think, are the four. So anyway, I like that one. I just got both of these trappers, Case Trappers Blue and the Amber Jig Bone, from John Robbins in a trade, and these things are great. I think my favorite is this one, just because it's chrome vanadium, so it's already starting to get some patina on it. I like patina. This one has better walk and talk, I think, by a little bit, and I really am liking the blue a lot. I'm kind of a blue type of guy. I wear a lot of blue shirts and stuff like that, so the blue's pretty cool, but I really like that this one gets the patina, and I really like, I think that's a peach seed style jigging on the scale, so, and I really like that pattern. So anyway, those are fairly new additions, and I really like those. This one, um, it's okay. It's a knife, you know. I got it for pretty cheap in a set of knives that I couldn't walk past in Walmart, and it's all right. It's a mini trapper, basically, same size as a Case mini trapper. So it about, I guess it's 3.5 inches closed, and I like it. I like the pattern on it. It's supposed to look like the grips on a 1911 pistol, so kind of the checkered walnut like that. I don't know if it's actually walnut or not. It kind of looks like it, so it might be. But anyway, I like 1911s, so that one kind of thought was kind of cool. Another one picked up, just another cheap one, another of the mini trappers. This is Imperial, so under the Schrade line. This is the celluloid, I think is what it's called, and I really like the depth of that. It's almost like you can see into the handle material, and I like how it changes, catches the light different ways, and it's a mini trapper, so it's just a real very useful design. I like those. This is a saddle horn trapper, so a little bit smaller than a mini trapper. Well, that doesn't show it very well, but anyway, it's slightly smaller than a mini trapper, and a little bit different shape to the handle. It's supposed to look like the saddle horn, like on a saddle. A little bit wider. Let's see if I can get this open without cutting myself. A little bit wider on the spay blade. So I kind of, a little bit taller, I should say. So I like that aspect of it. It's kind of neat. Next is a sow belly. So this is kind of getting into the my Stockman section here. So the sow belly being the heaviest and biggest of the Stockmans. This thing is great. that was my dog, Angus. He's keeping me company. So I really like the sow belly. It's a little bit heavier than some of the other Stockmans, and I like that. I just like the little bit bigger size. This one, Rough Rider, and again, 3 blades. Have your clip point spay and the sheep's foot, and just seems to be a really handy, very useful collection of blades that you can kind of do pretty much anything you need to do, honestly, in the span of a day. I mean, my grandpa, that's pretty much all he carried his entire life, and worked on it. He lived on a farm and worked hard physical labor, and that was all he needed. So I'm sure, when it gets right down to it, that's probably all I really need. But I'm a knife nut, so got quite a few. This is another Steel Warrior. This one, I really like the color of the handle material on this. It's supposed to be red walnut, I believe is what they call it. And this one has a little bit different shape on the main blade. Let's see if I can get this open here. A little bit different shape on the main blade. Kind of, I don't know how to even describe that, but I kind of like it. It's a little different looking. And then same, of course, for the other 2 blades. Spear or a pen blade and a sheep's foot. This is one. This is an USA made Schrade, or Schrade old timer. Before they sold out in 2004 and to Taylor Brands and shipped everything overseas to China. This is from probably, it would have been about 98, 99, something like that. So one of the later ones, but still has the good 1095 blade steel. This one got some pretty serious damage years ago. I let it sit in a drawer for about 3 years and didn't have it sufficiently oiled before it went away. Pulled it out and I almost cried. It was pitted, just horribly rusty, but sand it down and start it over. But some of the pitting I just could not get rid of. It was just too deep. I would have had to remove too much material, but did a forced patina on it with hot vinegar, and that really helped to get the rust under control. I was having a real hard time keeping the rust out of those pits that were already existing there. But once I did that, it was working much better. That's one that'll never leave my collection. I got this one, was given to me as a present for being in a wedding. My cousin's husband gave it to me, so that one will never leave my collection. I love it. It spent a ton of time in my pocket over the years, and just flat out works. This one, another variety, just with the desert ironwood. This is a Chinese made one because it's a more modern one, but I really like the handle material. Obviously same blade configuration. This one, I forget what this pattern is. I don't carry it anymore. I believe it might be a peanut. I'm not real sure. Keen cutter. Actually found it in the bottom of a river on a canoe trip when I was pretty young. And I used to carry it some, but this blade was broken off when I found it and had been filed down. And I carried it until that point bit me a couple times in the bottom of my pocket, stabbed into my finger, and decided that I, enough to draw blood, and decided that I wasn't probably ready to carry that one anymore. This is another one I got in a trade from John Robbins, and man, is this thing cool. GEC Bird Dog jack, and I really like that. Natural canvas micarta. I really like the look of micarta. I'd been looking to get one for a while, so that was a nice addition. Again, 1095 steel. These are both, I believe, based on the hawkbill pattern, which is this one. And basically it's set up to be a like for pruning trees, so you can hook a branch with it and it won't slip out. And the nice thing is, with a sway back design, it fits your hand really well for a draw cut to cut the limb, and it just fills your hand really nicely. I really like this one. Just a unique pattern, and I think it's a really pretty knife. I don't carry it all that often because it's pretty darn big. When you look at, this height-wise, takes up a lot of room in the bottom of my pocket, but I do really like it. This one is, I think, on the same pattern, just a little bit different with the sway back like that. The handle shape is almost identical, even though that one's a Boker and this one is a Rough Rider. This is called a Half Hawk, and the difference being, well, first of all, this is two blades. One is a pen blade, and then the other one is a large sheep's foot, and I really like this knife. This is one of my favorite slip joints. It's a pretty good size knife, so you can get a lot done with it. The walk and talk is great, has half stops on it. Actually pretty stiff back spring, so you got to kind of be careful that it doesn't bite you when it closes. And also, if you have your nails aren't all that strong, you might have a little bit of a difficult time with that one. This one picked up at a Meijer by us. It was just kind of like a super Walmart, basically. And I put the thumbs, the quick stud or whatever it's called, on there. And this is a cool little knife. It's a Boker Magnum. So not an expensive knife, but I like the look of it. It's really ergonomic. It's a little tight for getting all my fingers on, but if I do a 3-finger grip, it fits real nicely. And the cool thing about this is, even though it's a back lock, if I hit the button, it'll drop, and with the big enough ricasso, it won't cut me. So it's actually open and close one-handed, which is pretty cool for that style of a knife. I haven't run across one like that, although I don't know about a buck 110. I don't own one, never have, which is weird, but this is another one I picked up locally for pretty cheap. Part of it was on a clearance section. It's cheap blade steel, I'm sure. I haven't ever really used it all that hard. It's always a secondary blade for me. I always carry a modern folder with a clip in my left front pocket because I'm a lefty, and I carry this in the bottom of my right front pocket or some other slip joint, and as a secondary blade. And this one gets a surprising amount of pocket time for what I paid for it. It was next to nothing on clearance, and I kind of like it. This is another one that will never leave my collection. This is the very first knife that I ever purchased myself. It's an Uncle Henry LB5, and this thing, as it was part of my learning experience as a knife guy, and you can tell, just destroyed the tip with poor sharpening years ago. Way too aggressive stones, and didn't really know what I was doing. But anyway, this one again has spent a ton of time on my belt over the years, and I really like it. I'm trying to figure out, I think my camera's out of focus a little bit. Sorry about that. Having a hard time getting it to focus on what I want it to focus on. Anyway, so that one will never leave my collection. This is another one I got from my dad, just a small lockback. This is a Baron Son, so it's actually USA made. I think it's Delrin or something. It's a little cheap feeling, if I'm completely honest, but it was one that he had kicking around, I think, through his work somehow, so he gave it to me. I won't ever get rid of it because it was a gift, but it doesn't get a whole lot of pocket time. Another one, this one came as a package with that mini Trapper, about the same, just a small lockback. It's actually pretty solid, and that one actually does get carried some, not a ton, but a little bit. Couple Swiss Army knives. This is the one that used to be in my bottom of my left front pocket, floating for years and years. It's an Ambassador, so a little bit bigger than the smaller ones, but the same blade configuration, and I love the toothpick and the tweezer, just really handy. This one has the scissors on it, which is kind of the standard configuration, I think. And then this one got kicked out of my pocket when I won this one from JR and Dusty a while back in a giveaway, and this thing is just awesome. Tinker, love it, and it has not left my pocket ever since I got it. It's just fantastic. I've got a couple of the smaller, I think they're called Classics, floating around here and there around the house. I couldn't find any, of course, when I was looking for it just now, but anyway, I do have a couple of those too. A couple canoes. I started with this one, was my first one, a buck. This has the 420 J2 steel. It does not hold an edge very well at all, but whatever, it is what it is, and it's actually done a lot of work. You just got to keep up on sharpening it. This one, I'm not Irish, but I kind of like the idea, the good luck charm kind of idea. I'm not real big on big billboards on blades, but this one I thought was pretty cool. It says a stroke of luck, and it's all etched on there. I thought it was pretty neat with the inlaid horseshoe and again the green. Just caught my eye, something that I thought was nice. I find that a canoe is a really cool pattern. It's nice and narrow, or nice and slim, like thickness wise. Doesn't take up much room height wise. It's not all that long. It's got one good size blade and one smaller blade, both like pen blades, I guess you'd say. I guess that's what that's considered, or a spear point. But anyway, handy knife to have in the bottom of my pocket. I use them quite a bit. This one I had given to me. It was my brother-in-law found it on the Kmart parking lot when he used to work there. It's absolute junk. It has more blade play than you can imagine, but it's one of those knives where it has to have a story behind it. I have no idea how it ended up on that parking lot, but it's an interesting one. I mean, cracked handle material in the works, but it's kind of interesting. All right. Getting into modern folders, well, we'll save that one for a little later. This one was the first modern folder that I had with a pocket clip that I really started carrying after, well, I had a Spyderco Enduro, was actually my first one that I had. Carried that as a single knife, stayed in my pocket for years. And then I picked this one up. I wanted to get, it was right when Kershaw came out with the Chinese line, and I wanted to try out the Speed Safe. And so I picked this one up. I didn't like the blade grind on it. As a lefty, I didn't have many choices back then. There were only about 2 models when they first came out with them that had left side carry as an option. So I ended up going with this one, the Brawler, and just pretty much because of that fact. It's a little smaller than what I like now. I've gone to a little bit bigger knives. This is 3 or 3 1/4, I want to say. I didn't like the grind on it. It was horribly thick behind the edge. So I laid that edge back big time. And it's actually only probably, I don't know, 17 degrees or so, but it was so thick. It's just, it gives you this big fatty bevel, but almost looks like a Scandi grind. But anyway, that, I don't know, doesn't get a whole lot of pocket time, but it hangs around. This one really like Kershaw Fatback. Cool, nice pointy stabby blade, super fast. It's just snappy, big time, unbelievably comfortable handle based on the look of it. Seems like it would not be comfortable at all, but somehow it is. So that one I really like. This one was I think my first Tanto blade, and I like this one. It was a Knife Center exclusive. Well, at least in North America. I think they sold it on the Asian market with some other sellers too. But big blade, 3.75 inches or something like that. And so I like this. I used it pretty extensively when I was doing a bathroom remodel, and it worked really well for cutting, drywall tape up into the corners and stuff like that. Kind of a utility knife kind of idea. This one, I don't remember if I got this on a trade or if I bought it, but anyway, I like it. The only thing I don't like about it is the accidental deployment when you get that caught on your pocket. Other than that, I really like this knife. I really don't want to let it go. I'm trying to sell this one right now to make up some funds for a knife purchase. This one I actually picked up for the sole purpose of learning to get better at sharpening serrations. And plus, it's just a cool, kind of a mean-looking hawkbill design there. A little smaller than I normally carry, but action's pretty good, and it's nice and small. I'd actually carry that one sometimes in like gym shorts, sitting around, just relaxing on the couch. It's super light. This one, really good slicer, nice thin blade stock, and full flat grind, and the bird character too. Really like that one. Spyderco PM2 S110V. I like it. I really don't want to get rid of it, but I really, really wanted to pick up that ZT that I got just recently, and, you know, something's got to give. So, unfortunately, this one is going to have to go by the wayside, too. Schrade, SCHA 12, I believe is the name of this one. Interesting knife. It has a switch for turning on and off the assist. So there it's off, and it's super snappy, but it falls basically all the way down before it grabs. Or you can turn the switch on, and it's super snappy. Now, if you get one of these, don't look at the blade and think, huh, that's weird. They didn't sharpen the last little bit of the blade. So this section back here was completely, let's see if I can get it to focus here, was completely unsharpened back toward the ricasso, and I thought, oh, I can fix that. So I sharpened it back there. Shouldn't have done that. Apparently, the flipper, the little Magic Assist flipper on the back, I'll show you. So this part that pops up here, apparently that pushes on that unsharpened section of the blade to deploy it. So now, no matter how hard I push on that, there's nothing for it to push on, so it won't deploy. So now I'm thumb studs only, but whatever. It was a cheap knife, and it still works. I like the thumb studs on it anyway, but you do lose that feature if you think you're going to quote-unquote fix it, so don't do that. This is the one that I decided to modify, gave it a distressed look, and that was a result of those ridges are really comfortable in hand, but they hang up horribly underneath the pocket clip, like about rip your pocket material as you're pulling it in and out. So I took a Dremel to that, and of course when I did, it removed the finish and left the shiny aluminum showing through, so I decided to do a distressed look on the whole thing, and I actually like it more like this. Oh my, video's running long. Ruger, let's see, 2-stage CRKT, only CRKT that I own actually, because most of the time they do not cater to lefties. Big knife, really good action on it. Another one on the chopping block just because something's got to give. This is my new baby, ZT 0920, and I really like this thing. Holy cow. It fits me really well. It's pretty much, I think it's pretty much exactly what I was looking for, at least, you know, famous last words of every knife nut, at least for the time being. Love, love, love this knife. It spent basically a week straight in my pocket, and it's I switched it up the last couple days, and I think I'm going to go back to this one again because I miss carrying it. It's really cool. Oh, my legs. These are getting tired. All right. This one. Got this one from JR, and probably, oh, I don't know, 2 years ago, something like that. Year and a half ago. Recon 1. This thing is just a beast. Love it. Gets a lot of pocket time. Fits my hand great. Very ergonomic. Just really like this knife. Another Cold Steel. Got this one actually as a gift from same guy that gave me the old timer for being in his wedding. He gave me this as a Christmas present last year or 2 years ago, something like that. Neat folding Scandi, neat idea. I love the Finn-Wolf. Fits my hand really well, and really like that knife. Super lightweight too. Ganzo selection. I'm not going to go through each one of these, but this one, the detent is super light on this. Thumb studs work. You got to really mean it if you're going to want to do the flipper. I mean, you just barely touch it and it opens up. That's a downside to that one, but neat blade design. I like it. This one, really like the handle material on it. This was my first, I think this was my first frame lock that I got, and like this one a lot. Action's really good, nice blade shape. This is the 742, I think it is. I don't remember the model numbers on those. This one, Peter Richards gave me this one just as a gift a while back, and it was right side carry only, so I drilled and tapped the left because I really wanted to carry it. So that's a cool little auto. It is very springy. I like that one a lot. This one, another Ganzo. I forget what the model is on this one. This was one of my favorite designs that they had, especially of their own designs, or at least mostly their own design, when they got away from the blatant copying a little bit more. Then I really like that one. I had a carbon fiber addiction for a little while, Ganzo carbon fiber. I ended up trading off a couple of them that I had, but those are the two that I have left. Copy of an HK, forget what the model is, but anyway, I like this one too. Good action on it. Well, that didn't really display it very well, but well, that didn't either. Behind the camera, not so good. San Renmu Land 9103, super snappy and really good drop shutty action on bearings. 12C28, I believe. This is one that I 10-gram rumble. Being a lefty, it worked out just fine for me that it was only left side clip. And this is the one that I ended up taking from Brown and dyeing it. Tried to get sapphire blue. Sapphire blue didn't work out. Got really, really dark. So I ended up doing kind of a distressed look on this one too. Like it better now. Action's good. Really like the blade shape on it. Nice knife to carry. Deep, pretty deep carry clip too, which is nice. I'm not real hung up on that. I don't really care if I have knives sticking out of my pocket or not. But anyway, that's nice if you want it every once in a while. Everybody's got to have a tan flipper, Ozark Trail. Mine, the flipper, I mean, I cannot get this thing to flip to save my life, but super fast on thumb studs. I did have to modify it. The liner lock was really sharp where the machining stopped on the end of it. Horribly sharp on that point, so I ended up grinding that down. I may play around with this and try to modify it a little bit because it's only right-hand carry and I'm a lefty, so it never gets carried. But you know, it was cheap. Figured I had to pick one up. My fixed blades. I used to have a few more fixed blades. Ended up getting rid of quite a few of them, traded them off. This one I really like, Schrade SCHF 52. Big old beast of a knife. Took this one on a backpacking trip and it worked out really well. Nice for batoning wet wood. Try and get us a fire on that trip. Not sure that we could have gotten a fire going very easily if it wasn't for a big knife like that. I wasn't real sure about the hit on the weight, but I was kind of glad I took it along and it worked out really well. I've played around with it a little bit since then. I really like it. I don't see that one going anywhere anytime soon. This is the Old Hickory 7-inch butcher knife that I modified. Cut it down to a 4.5-inch clip point buoy. Sculpted the handle, reground it from a hollow grind to a flat grind, or I should say I guess it'd be a saber. The main grind is now flat. Did a swedge on the clip point there, and this was all a learning experience. I'd never done anything like that before, and I was really happy with how it turned out. Loved the 1095, how it's taken a patina. It's a cool knife. This was my second Kydex, well actually this is Holstex, sheath that I made, and that was fun, getting into some Kydex work. This is one that I got from Eric Holiday, good doc, on a giveaway, and it came with with light colored handles and a bottle of dye, and I dyed this one blue. Really like the way this blue turned out. It's a neat little neck knife. It's tiny, a lot smaller than I was expecting, but it's pretty cool. The retention on this sheath was just atrocious when I got it, but since I had just gotten into the Kydex work, I had the rivets or the eyelets or whatever, so I had to use bigger ones than what they had, but drilled those out and put in new ones. Now the retention's fine on it. All right, so then my windfall of knives that I got from my uncle. His kids weren't interested in knives, and he's looking for what to do with his knife collection when inevitably it needs to get passed down to somebody. And he chose me, which I was absolutely flattered to receive that. And this is the first part of the collection, he handed me a bag of knives and said, "These are for you." And I had no idea that it was coming. Very caught off guard and very, very just taken aback. It was quite the gift. Funny thing about this fixed blade, it's a Sharp brand. I actually had basically this exact same knife that I carried deer hunting for years. It's probably 448 steel, something like that. But I had actually just traded mine off about a week or two before he gave this one to me, so it's kind of funny. But anyway, yeah, so that one's just a hunting knife. This one is a Dozier. I forget, Buffalo Creek, I think, or something like that. I forget, I looked up the name on it a while back. This one I've actually carried a little bit. Of course I can't. Let's see if I can cut myself here. D2 steel. Oh my goodness, the fit and finish on this thing is just phenomenal. Just a heck of a work knife. Fits the hand fantastically. Everything's rounded perfectly. You can't feel anything on this, like the seams between the pins and everything. It's ground super thin behind the edge. It's just a super cool knife. One thing that did surprise me is this lanyard tube was sharp, like really sharp when I got it. Like almost cut myself on it. They had obviously, sanded it down with the scale, but then they didn't chamfer the edge of it. And it surprised me how sharp it was. I thought, man, I'm going to cut myself. So I ended up just taking not a deburring tool. I'm drawing a blank on it. But anyway, countersink, and just lightly went in there and rounded it off. Now it's fine. Another one, Hella Viking. This is another one, obviously, that he gave to me. Really cool knife. Love the handle material. See if I can get it to focus here. Of course not. Man, it won't work with me. Anyway, Scandi grind, of course, and really like this knife. Just really cool. Probably will never carry it, honestly, but very obviously honored to be given it. This is one I posted pictures of this one already a while back. Can't find out anything about it. It's a hand-forged blade. I can see the hammer marks in it. The only thing, I don't know if I can get this thing to focus or not. That's the only thing that I see on it is an OK for a maker's mark. I can't find anything about it. Nothing. The handle is just beautiful. The leather work is phenomenal. I don't know. Let me just get my cord out of the way there. My phone was about to die earlier, so I had to have it plugged in. Really cool knife. I don't know, like I said, don't know anything about it, but obviously a very well done piece. And I would love to know a little bit more about it. I'm going to have to ask my uncle the next time I get together with him. This is another one. Let's see. It's an Camillus from their custom shop. And really neat knife. I forget what the blade steel is. Talonite, I think is the blade steel, if I remember correctly. Again, I don't know a whole lot about it. I kind of get the feeling that it's a little bit of a pricey knife. Not crazy, but definitely nice. Fits my hand fantastically. It looks like it may have actually been used. He's a big hunter, so he may have actually used this. I don't know for sure. Still debating whether or not I want to use it. I don't know. We'll see. For right now, it's going to be a safe queen. This one will for sure be a safe queen. DF Kressler is the maker from Munich, Germany. And it's apparently an integral fixed blade, I think is what they call it. So basically, it's all machined from one chunk of steel, as far as I can tell. I didn't know anything about the maker. Apparently, he has one heck of a following, and this is one of his smaller ones. I don't know prices on this. A lot of the other ones are crazy numbers that he's getting for his knives. Apparently, he had some health issues, and his quality kind of went downhill in recent years. But I don't know. This one looks pretty darn good to me. I'm not sure when it was made, but his earlier knives definitely fetched higher prices. This one I already showed too. Oh no, I take it back. That other one, this is that, I think, Buffalo Creek or Buffalo River or something like that. Forget, Larry Page knife, and has, believe it's Desert Ironwood handle, which I absolutely love. It is probably the most ergonomic handle I've ever felt on a fixed blade. Just absolutely melts into my hand. Really, really like it. Will probably never carry it. With a mirror finish and stuff, I think this is just going to be a safe queen, which is not really me. Normally, I'm all about getting knives that I'm going to carry and use, but when you're given stuff like this, I don't know. I don't feel right using them. I don't know. I guess some people probably would. I don't know that I ever will. Like I said, the Dozier one I will. I don't know why, what makes the difference in my mind on this one, but I will probably use that one. This is one, again, showed pictures of this already, and oh, I can't get it out of there. Bless. Great handle material, and really cool action. Push the button on that side and it releases the liner, pressure on the liner lock, and you can flip it out and flip it closed. Very solidly built knife. I love that it's, I don't know, Scandinavian. I believe it's from Norway, if I remember correctly. Caribou, twisted caribou leather, and a piece of caribou antler for the lanyard, cord, and bead. Pretty cool. This is one, again, this is one that my uncle got as, I'm guessing, a giveaway. He's a big donor for the Ruffed Grouse Society, and has a, it was like a commemorative deal, sponsor. Forget what the year was. I don't know. Anyway, kind of like a, I guess like a bird cleaning knife. This one got from him also, and this one, it's a little smaller than what I would normally carry. I'm also not real big on serrations, but it's kind of cool. It's got good action on it, and anyway, it's kind of a neat knife. These two are, let's see, these are Browning brand, and they're basically identical in construction other than the blade shape. They're both G10, and I don't remember what the blade steel was. 14C28N maybe? I don't remember. Made in China. They're slip joints, which is interesting. They look like they'd be a lockback, but they're not. So that's kind of neat. Clip point and a, I guess you'd say a spear, no, a drop point. And, okay, we're getting down to the end here. Buck, oh, I can't remember what the name of, Alpha Hunter, maybe? And holy cow, is this thing a boat anchor. See if I can get it out there. But, I don't know that I'll ever carry it, but he said that this one's been to Africa with him quite a few times. He said, you may want to wash that before you do anything with it. He said, I have no idea what's on it. But apparently it's cleaned some animals in Africa when he was on his safaris over the years. So, I don't know, neat design. Very ergonomic. Big chunks of rubber on it. Super heavy, very heavy built knife. So I can see why he liked carrying it there. This one, Buck, I'm drawing a blank on the name of it. It's just beautiful. Well, get my hand out of the way here. Beautiful knife. Titanium handle and Damasteel blade. Bearings, I believe. Frame lock. The only problem, first of all, it's going to be a safe queen. I would never carry something like this. Second, I was a little disappointed with, or I should say Buck should be a little disappointed with their build quality on this. The over travel stop, if you can hear it, it rattles. It's super loose on there. I don't know if the screw is already bottomed out and it won't go any tighter. I'm not real sure what the deal is with it, but I was a little surprised by that. Also, the detent is like non-existent, which I was kind of surprised. You can get it to flip, but you gotta really mean it. So anyway, it's a collector's piece, and I'll keep it as such. And so anyway, pretty neat knife though. Really like the look of it. It's a beautiful knife. But yeah, the execution of it I thought came up a little short. If I was him when I bought it, I might have been a little disappointed. As me getting it as a gift, I think it's pretty cool. But anyway, kind of a neat knife. And I forget what the name of this one is. I'd have to look it up again. I'm drawing a blank on it. Last one. Big old beast of a knife. Chinese made, big Bowie type knife. Fit and finish is not all that great, but kind of a neat knife. I don't foresee myself ever using it, but I don't know, kind of neat nonetheless. All right, sorry, that ended up, holy cow, 40 minutes. That was a long video. So that is the collection. And hopefully, if any of you have stuck with me this whole time, you got to see some of the ones that I hadn't revealed yet from the big gift that I got from my uncle. All right, before I get any longer, I will talk to you later, and I better go tend to my fire.